You're on mute.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Arrowhead District 2021 Virtual Friends of Scouting Ask Event. My name is Rudy Gonzalez, and I am the Scout Executive for the Rio Grande Council, Boy Scouts of America. First, I want to thank everyone for attending this event. This is our yearly Friends of Scouting that we do for the McAllen area. I also want to thank all the committee members that have been part of this. Friends of Scouting for the Arrowhead District, committee members Rafael Medrano, Marcus Barrera, Ernie Aliceda, Stephen Wingert, Adrian Arriaga, and Ms. Cristina Torres. They've been helping throughout the planning of the dinner and our Friends of Scouting virtual event. And I know it's gonna be a success with, because they provided all the leadership and they're making this happen for us. And we cannot also forget Mr. Tony Forina, our Friends of Scouting virtual Ask Event chair and master of ceremonies. He oversees not only some of the units in our Arrowhead district, but also the cities of McAllen, Mission, Edinburgh, Far San Juan, and Alamo areas. We will hand a campership to a deserving youth in our community on behalf of Rio Grande Council, which is our oldest continuous Boy Scout camp here in Texas, on behalf of Mr. Forina. And thank you very much for helping us be our master of ceremonies. To begin our program, I would like to play a video of our scouts and leader, Carlos Adam Rodriguez, Live Scout, Diego Trevino, Live Scout, Damian Trevino, Star Scout, and Carlos Rodriguez, an adult leader with Troop 61 from the Rio Grande Council. And the video took place at our beautiful Camp Perry and Rio Hondo. And they're going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and also the Scout Oath and the Scout Law.
Color guard, attention, camp, attention. Color guard, forward, march. Color guard, alt. Color guard, prepare to post the colors. Color guards, post the colors. Scout salute. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please join me in the Scout Oath. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, and to obey the Scout Law, to help other people at all times and keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. Scout Law. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Outdoor Code. As an American, I will do my best to be clean in my outdoor manners, be careful with fire, be considerate in the outdoors, and be conservation-minded. Toot! Color guard, reform. Color guard, about, face. Color guard, forward, march. Color guard. Halt. Color guard. About. Face. Color guard at east. Camp at east.
Well, John Moreno, Sir Knight of 12040, Council Our Lady of Sorrows and McAllen, Knights of Columbus, and also our Camp Perry Ranger, please lead us in the invocation.
Will you bow your head as we pray? God of all creations, we come before you today to give you honor and praise. You are worthy of praise. You are the source of all the good. You are the source of all the blessings. Thank you for every gift that you have given. We thank you for the opportunity to come and gather together this day. We ask your hand of blessing on this FOS, Friends of Scouting. We ask that you guide and direct our meeting so that it is full of wisdom, productivity, respect for one another. Thank you for helping us accomplish our work, our goals of this day. Amen.
Thank you, Troop 61 and John Moreno, for leading us in this invocation. Let's give them a round of applause for helping us out tonight. At this time, I would like to introduce our Arrowhead Virtual Friends of Scouting Ask Event Chair and our Master of Ceremonies, Tony Fordina, to take it over. Tony.
Thank you, Rudy. I appreciate you and all of the great work that you do for scouting across the Rio Grande Valley. How about a round of applause for Troop 61 and John Moreno, Sir John Moreno of the Knights of Columbus. A lot of people may recognize Sir John Moreno as the Knights of Columbus, but more people will recognize him as the Ranger at Camp Perry, which has gotten a tremendous facelift over the last couple of years through our great Friends of Scouting Ask of Adelante con Camp Perry. If you haven't visited lately, I encourage you to do so and be a part of the exciting changes that is going on at Camp Perry. And by the way, John Moreno is the father of 4 Eagle Scouts. That in itself deserves another big round of applause. Congratulations, John. You and Irma have done great, and we applaud all your efforts to continue to build on scouting here in the Rio Grande Valley. As mentioned, I got the honor and privilege to serve as the chair of this Ask event, and it would not have been possible without the great committee that I worked hand in hand with: Marcus Barrera, Ernie Aliceda, Stephen Wingard, Adrian Arriaga, Cristina Torres. We appreciate all of your efforts and all of your hard work. And we want to welcome all those folks that are watching on the AIM media properties, whether it be the Monitor, the Brownsville Herald, or the Valley Morning Star, that have graciously picked up our feed tonight off the council feed to showcase the Arrowhead District Friends of Scouting Ask event. Now you're wondering, what is an Ask event? What is it that you're asking for? We're asking for your donations. We're asking for your support. Through the years, Scouting has helped prepare America's youth for the challenges of every era. America truly needs Scouting more than ever. Citizenship training, personal management, self-reliance, and personal integrity. Those are all hallmarks of this program. Scouting continues to prepare our young people to lead, accept responsibility, and truly care about principles and causes that go beyond the self-interest. They go beyond them. And when you support the youth and adult members of local Scouting, you truly affect the quality of life in our community and our community values and the thousands of residents within our council territory. So we are committed to being great stewards of the resources that are entrusted to us, to be prudent, efficient, and accountable. For over 100 years, the Rio Grande Council has successfully delivered Scouting to the youth of our communities. Now, whether you're a Scout volunteer, whether you're a parent, a board member, or a financial contributor, your belief in Scouting is what makes this program work. And for that, we are eternally grateful for your being involved in it. I'd like to play a video and highlight one of our own Scouts, Caitlin Liguez, and her father, Alfonso Liguez, of Troop 1065 here out of the Rio Grande Council.
Since joining Scouting, I've grown as a person, developed my confidence, and have made lifelong friendships. I've surprised myself by doing things I've never thought I'd do before. For example, zip lining. This was out of my comfort zone, but I'd definitely like to go again. Also, hiking, backpacking, and overnight camping. This past year, I was invited to attend National Jamboree. I was definitely hesitant because this was out of my comfort zone. But scouting has taught me to consider my future self, and my future self would want me to take this amazing opportunity. Similar to deciding to attend Jamboree, I've decided to pursue nursing. Every merit I've taken, I've been fortunate enough to discuss possible career paths. Just like merit badges, everything I do day in and day out has the potential of helping me to reach my goal. I don't know what the future holds, but scouting is helping me not to be afraid of taking the next step in becoming a nurse.
And you know, as a parent, I'm very excited to see the growth and development that has happened in my daughter Caitlin since she started scouting. It is also very exciting to see her growing appreciation for the outdoors. In fact, every time we talk about Camp Perry, her face lights up. She's quick to want to share a story or a memory that she acquired while participating in either summer camp, winter camp, or the International Camporee. These opportunities are priceless, and I'm so thankful that Caitlin has experienced scouting at all levels and phases. Lastly, I'd like to say, as a former scout, I'm very excited that the spirit of scouting is alive and thriving in my daughter Caitlin. And for that, I'm very thankful. Together, Caitlin and I would like to say, thank you for your support.
Excellent work to the Liguez family. Thank you for joining us tonight and sharing a bit of your story. And nursing school, huh? I think we're going to have a special guest who might be able to touch up on a little bit of nursing school. But we got Rudy on right now. Rudy, you have actually been out all week at a different camp, but you're getting training that's going on right now, right?
Well, you know, all this past year has been rough on a lot of our scouts. They've been, at home doing Zoom meetings and doing a lot of virtual stuff. And so we have our ranger up here and two of our volunteers getting prepared so we can have an excellent and outstanding first-class summer camp. And so we're getting trained, we're getting certified, and we're bringing all those best practices and all that knowledge down to the valley from Bastrop, Texas. We have some great trainers up here. And let me tell you, Tony, camp looks marvelous. Our ranger's been doing a great job. The volunteers have been going out there and helping us out. The scouts have been out there helping us out. And so everybody's been pitching in, and we're ready. We're going to have one of the best summer camps ever in the history of the oldest continuous Boy Scout camp in the state of Texas.
I think my favorite part about the last summer camp that I was at was the new dining hall and the great food that was served in there. We look forward to more delicious meals at the dining hall. But Rudy, if somebody is watching right now and they're thinking, okay, these guys have taken over my Facebook feed, or they've taken over my evening, and they're asking, how is it that people can help out?
Well, it takes about $350 per year to help one of our scouts. And it takes about $2,000 a year to help a patrol of 8 scouts. Tony, this year has been rough on a lot of families. I've never seen so many requests for camperships. A lot of our families have lost their jobs. A lot of their hours have been cut. And some of our youth have also lost their parents. And they're having to live with another family member or grandma and grandpa. It's been a rough year for all of the kids here in the Valley. And so we're asking all of our supporters out there to please help us. Right now I have 20 campership forms, each at $300 on my desk because I ran out of campership money to send some of these young people to summer camp. So I'm asking all of our viewers out there to please get on your phone tonight, on your cell phone, and text Arrowhead, ARROWHEAD, to 91999. This will really help make a difference in a lot of the kids here in the Valley. And a lot of our kids don't have the resources to go up north to Austin or Dallas or Houston or even to like Colorado and some of those other awesome places. This is the only option that they have here locally. And with a $350 donation, or if you want to help 8 scouts in a patrol for $2,000 that would be great. You would be helping to send some more of our scouts to a great experience this summer.
So you can do that right now. Just simply send a text to 91999, and the text you're going to send is just going to be Arrowhead. They'll send you back the information on how you can donate. And if you're on your phone but want to still do your donation, you can go to the chat box and click on the link that's in the chat box. That'll give you an opportunity to make your donation right at that very point right there. So please take the next couple of minutes to make your donation. It's a tax-deductible donation, and you'll receive letters from the Scout office at the end of the year that will attest to your payment. So we'll give you a couple of minutes to do that right now. 91999. You're going to text Arrowhead, and then from there, they will give you all the details on how your donation will work. Now, don't forget, it's $300, $350 for a single scout, or $2,000 to get a troop out to Camp Perry to experience the outdoor life. Go ahead,
Tony, here's some more information for all of our friends of scouting out there and our donors. You don't have to pay everything right now. You can do a pledge where you pay 20 tonight, and next month you pay another 20, and so you have the rest of the year to finish paying your pledge. Again, you don't have to pay all of it tonight. It can be a recurring payment that you make also. So if you don't want to, go online every year to give the payment, you can set it up as a recurring monthly, yearly payment, and we'll send you the paperwork. And again, you don't have to pay all of it tonight. You have the rest of the year to finish paying your pledge.
That's great information right there, Rudy, and thanks for sharing it. So it's not a full one-time payment. You can break it up into several smaller bites and make it a little bit easier on yourself. So again, we encourage you, text Arrowhead to 91999, and then follow the information there about how you can set up your donation, whether it be a one-time donation or a recurring donation. We love those as well, and we'd love to hear from you. So thank you, Rudy, and we're going to check in with you so that we can get an update later on how it is that we're doing, all right?
Thank you, Tony.
I appreciate you, my friend. Now I'd like to introduce you to our keynote speaker. We talked about nursing school and how we have somebody that might be able to give us some more information. Let me tell you about our keynote speaker, Dr. Guy Bailey. He was named president of the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley in May of 2014. Prior to being named president of UTRGV, Dr. Bailey served as president of the University of Alabama. If you feel like you need to yell Roll Tide, I will accept that from you right now. He served as president of Texas Tech University, was the chancellor of the University of Missouri at Kansas City, and the provost and executive vice president of the University of Texas, San Antonio. And when it came time to find our guest keynote speaker, he automatically popped into my mind because, as you know, UTRGV is celebrating its 5th year of existence right now. And a lot of the development that is coming out of UTRGV is going to help shape the future of Texas. So why not find out and hear from the man that is leading UTRGV with tremendous success in multiple areas: student retention, research expenditures, philanthropic gifts to the institution have increased dramatically, all under Dr. Bailey's watch. And as a direct result of the extraordinary commitment to the Rio Grande Valley and the UTRGV faculty and staff. Now, let me tell you how much Dr. Bailey loves the Valley kids and how much he wants them to succeed. When he was president at Texas Tech University, that's when I got the first opportunity to meet Dr. Bailey. And we met at the Doubletree Suites on South 2nd Street in McAllen. Now, what was he doing here? He had some of the brightest students from across the Rio Grande Valley that he knew were going to have financial challenges to get a college degree. And he came down here on an expedition. And he said, I want to take you students. And if you cannot meet these financial obligations, we have a specific program that can help you out. And it was the Red Raider. It was the Red Raider. Dr. Bailey, you might have to help me out on this one. The Red Raider Promise, I believe.
That's right.
In which they were helping Valley students get tuition and get to Texas Tech University to help their entire families. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'd like to welcome Dr. Guy Bailey.
Thank you so much, Tony. I really appreciate those those kind words. And it is true. I was coming to the Valley long before I lived here doing recruiting at Texas Tech. We saw this as prime recruiting territory. It's Texas Tech still recruits down here. I've been trying to convince them not to, that they don't need to do that anymore, but they come anyway. And they still have that big event, a lot of times at the convention center now. So, but at the time, we saw this as just a wonderful place to recruit great students. One of the ironies about that, I guess, Val and I, before we began dating and of course eventually married, we assumed we had never met, even though she had 3 daughters who went to Texas Tech. In fact, one graduated from Tech while I was there. I handed her diploma, but we found out that was not true. On one of the my trips down here, I had brought matching money for the STAR scholarships. And I'll remind every potential student out there, we have a lot of resources in the Rio Grande Valley for you to go to school. The STAR scholarship is one of those, and we match that. And so you get the daily double when you get one of those scholarships. And most scholarships you get, we will match. And so we want you very much to be at UTRGV. It's a wonderful place to live, and it's my permanent home now, and I'll be here forever. I can't tell you how much I love it. The other thing I want to do before I get started, the text works. I got on my cell phone when you mentioned that, and so I've made my donation, and I want to encourage everybody to do that. Times right now are extremely difficult for many families. I mean, a lot of people have lost jobs. It's just been very difficult. You've had people unable to work. We were all working remotely until very recently when we have begun to kind of come back to work. It's just been a difficult thing. Please help these kids have as little disruption in their lives as possible. I mean, right now, so many things are happening. Our commitment to our students was to minimize their disruption as they move forward to get their degrees. And that's what you can do right now. If you'll give money and make a donation, help a kid go to camp, you minimize the disruptions that have been caused by COVID. I see this all the time where you've had kids, they've not been able to go to school until recently. All of the socialization, all of the interaction with other children, which is so important to growing up, they've missed. So help them do this. And the good thing about the interactions in scouting is that these are structured interactions that involve significant life building activities. I mean, you can do things that won't affect your life later on, or you can do things that build character, that provide you with skills that will help you succeed later on. And scouting does just that. So I want to encourage you to do what I did, pick up that cell phone. That text thing works. I got it to work. If I can get it to work, anybody can. So you see the where you text and you type in Arrowhead, and there's several options for paying right there. But anyway, this is very important to me and very important to the children, the kids, the young adults of the Rio Grande Valley. So thank you so much. Of course, I got to tell you about UTRGV. I'm very proud of it and very proud of what we've done. Remember that when we started and when UTRGV was formed, one of the things that we were supposed to do was enhance healthcare in the Valley through a school of medicine. What that does is provide additional educational opportunities for our students. I think 53% of our entering medical school class this fall is from the Rio Grande Valley. And they have to compete with people all over the United States. You don't get in because you're from the Valley. You get in because you're a great student. And so in competition nationwide with people from all over the country, 53%, I mean, that's over half of the best people were from the Rio Grande Valley. So we're very pleased that we think we can keep those students here in the Valley because when they graduate, we'll have residency opportunities for them. And we think that we can help them become physicians right here. That's very important. Our physician workforce is aging. In Cameron County, for instance, and this is where I have the most recent statistics, the average age of a physician is over 60 years old. They're going to retire at some point. And we have to replace that physician workforce. Think about it, over 60 years old. That's not quite as old as our last presidents have been, but that's still pretty old. Think about it. So we need to replace that physician workforce. It's absolutely crucial to do so. And by the way, I'm so delighted that she's going to become a nurse. That's critical. When you go to the hospital or you go to the doctor, when you go to the emergency room, what have you, who do you deal with most? The doctor? No, the nurse. The nurses are the linchpin of healthcare. So best of luck. Study hard. It's a great profession to be in. Nursing is a well-paid profession too. So those people are highly educated, highly trained. And if you ever wanted to understand the value of nurses, the pandemic showed it. And the pandemic also has shown you the value of having a medical school. I couldn't be prouder of what our medical school did during the pandemic. We tested over 100,000 people, and some of them were multiple times. I was tested multiple times, so I know over 100,000 people. That's almost 10% of the Valley's population was tested at the medical school. And we did tests in Edinburgh. We did them in Brownsville. We did them in Harlingen. We did them in Mercedes. We tested all over the Valley. We've given over 70,000 vaccinations so far. Again, think about, that's a significant part of our population. If you have not been vaccinated, let me encourage you to do that. I did it immediately. I mean, the minute I became eligible, I exposed my arm and got that vaccine. I took my wife with me. I made sure my 95-year-old mother in Alabama at the first opportunity got vaccinated. It's absolutely crucial. That's how you protect yourself. That's how we get back to normal. Remember, well, you don't remember. I grew up in the 1950s. There was an epidemic then. It's called polio. And what polio did, it crippled or killed people, mostly crippled, mostly children. And so our parents wouldn't let us go to movie theaters. We couldn't go to the swimming pool. We couldn't go to the park. We couldn't interact with other children. It essentially put our lives on hold. But you know what? What eliminated that epidemic, what got things back to normal, was the polio vaccine, right? There were two guys, Salk and Sabin, racing to develop that vaccine. And when those vaccines were developed, just like that, life moved back to normal. It's so important. This vaccine will not, I had no reactions at all. My 95-year-old mother had no reaction at all. My wife, had a headache and felt bad for a day or so, took a couple of Tylenol. That took care of it. But please do that. You can save your own life. And I can't tell you how many lives we dealt with during the pandemic. Some very tragic, some came to very tragic ends. Most made it through. Don't put yourself at risk like that. There's no need to. You can live. And now remember, we're moving the age for vaccinations down. If you have not been vaccinated, call our medical school. You can be vaccinated across the Valley. And I think next week, you won't have to go to the medical school or to the RAC in Harlingen. You'll be able to go to one of our clinics anywhere. And so the Pfizer, the Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, they're all good vaccines. So please take them. And again, I know that's a little bit of an advertisement, but hey, if you can't afford it, it doesn't cost you anything, right? If you're insurance, you got insurance, we'll charge your insurance. Don't worry about that. That's not the issue. The issue is, so I'm really proud of our medical school, and you can see how it's important to an area to have that. increased educational opportunity. It helps our students. They don't have to go away to go to medical school. And then you have increased health care. And then we can replace those aging physicians as they decide to retire. And so anyway, thank you for all your support. You know, a little over a year ago, we had to face a dramatic decision. On March the 11th, a pandemic was declared. And suddenly we understood that we couldn't allow people to go back to class. We couldn't have people come into work. Our lives changed immediately. It's one of the most, and we did this in 2 weeks' time. We changed all of our classes to go remote, right? You know, that was quite an effort. We rearranged our whole work environment so everybody could work remotely. And then we ask ourselves, what can we do to ensure that there is minimal disruption in our students' lives? Well, you know, we can't, the health issues, we can't, there's nothing we can do about that. We can't do anything about interactions with other people. What we could do is help you continue on through school and through your education. And so I got my team together, and I have a terrific team, by the way. They're doing a great job. They're very experienced, among the best in higher education in the country. And what we did, we asked ourselves, how do we help our students continue moving forward? Well, first of all, we knew that a lot of them were going to lose jobs. So we had put a hiring freeze on. We, you know, right? We didn't know what was happening financially, but the one exception to that were student workers. We added student workers, and they worked remotely, just like everybody else in the universe. They worked remotely, but we added student workers. And then we ask ourselves, how can we help them in school? Well, we were fortunate to get some CARES money from the federal government. We turned that into emergency loans for students, but we also, with our own internal resources, provided grants. Last summer, we had $1,000 grants for full-time students to ensure that they could continue their education. We did the same thing in the fall, the same thing in the spring. We did everything we could to help take care of the financial issues that faced our students. And they were severe, there's no question about that. And you know, the interesting thing about that, most universities around the country saw significant declines in enrollment. We had a record increase in enrollment. We had over 32,000 students last fall. We had been at 29 something the year before. We added 3,000 students at a time when everybody was losing enrollment. Why did we do that? We focused on what was best for the students, how we could support them financially, how we could support them as they move forward to get their educations. And we graduated a record number of students this year. And by the way, we were able to have socially distanced outdoor, but person-to-person graduations for the first time in a year and a half. And it meant a lot to our students. It was outside, you know, they were 6 feet apart, and we had to have 15 ceremonies to get them all in. Think about that, 15 graduation ceremonies, but we did it. And so we're very pleased about that. But the focus on the student was the key thing. As we go forward, we understand that even as we move back to face-to-face classes, and most of our classes in the fall will be, a good many of them will be face-to-face. We'll have some remote, but the vast majority will be face-to-face, and some will be hybrid, but it'll be pretty close to, it'll be much more like 2019 than 2020. And so we're getting back to normal. So we understand that as we move back there, we need to continue to support our students. The financial consequences have not gone away, right? And you know that. That's why we're doing this ask tonight. The financial consequences have not gone away. What we are going to do, any educational debt and again, we have all this in our accounts receivable that you incurred during the pandemic. We're going to forgive. We're going to pay off your debts, any of the debts and that goes all the way back to spring 2020, summer 2020, fall 2020, spring 2021. Any of the debts that you have incurred, we'll be paying off, and we'll be taking care of that. We want you to start your education whole. Not worried about this. You think, God, I still don't have a job. My job hasn't come back. Don't worry about that. You focus on your education. We're focused on you. We're going to get through. And, it may be another year before everything is back to normal completely, before everybody's back in the workforce, but we're going to help you get through. So that's our commitment to you as we go forward. I want to ask everybody out there to make the same kind of commitment to our scouts. Help them live their lives as close to normal as possible. Help them continue. Help them go to camp. I mean, they now can go to camp and interact with one another. Help them do that and help their families. It's please follow that. Go online, do that thing, and help take care of our students. The great thing about scouting, and I admire it so much. I grew up in an area that had no scout troop, so I never had the opportunity to be a Boy Scout. But I really admire it because, first of all, you learn a lot about the outdoors. And I grew up in a time and in a place where we spent a lot of time outdoors. That's a part of healthy living. It's a part of understanding the world about you that you don't get when you spend all your time on a device, right? And when you spend all your time playing video games and doing those things, you don't learn about the world about you in the same way that scouts do. Nor do you, just all of the activities that you do, those make for healthy minds and healthy bodies. And those two things go together. I mean, if you're physically healthy, you're probably mentally healthy too. Scouting does that as well as any organization in the world. But the last thing, there's some life lessons you learn from scouting. You learn about persistence. You got to get the badge, you got to persist to get the badges and to achieve the goals that you set out for yourself. Persistence is one of the most important things the values that you can ever have. Just the ability to stick to it when times get tough. This past year showed us more than anything the value of persistence, right? It also showed us the value of resilience. Resilience, the ability to just keep going when, gosh, it's hard to keep going. I can't tell you, that may be the most important quality. If there was any quality I could give to my grandchildren, and we got 10 of them, it would be that resilience, right? Yeah, when things get tough, just keep going, keep moving on. I've told our students who graduated, you are resilient. That's going to carry you through life. That resilience and persistence are so important. I like to tell the story of my favorite Civil War hero. It's a guy named Ulysses S. Grant. All of you have heard of Grant. Now, if you think about it, here was a man who was, until the Civil War, quite unsuccessful in his life. He basically failed at most everything he tried. He was never really a resounding success. In the Civil War, he had some success as a leader, made it up to general, and did very well in the West. I mean, he is a person who his army captured Vicksburg under very difficult circumstances. And if you read about that campaign, you understand that without his kind of bulldog persistence and his resilience, that would have never happened. But then he went to the East to fight Robert E. Lee and the Confederate armies there. And they were the best Confederate armies. And no Union general had really had any success at all there. And, Grant, Lee was older than Grant, more experienced, and a brilliant general. Grant understood that. Grant understood that he was going up against somebody who might be a better general than he was. But you know what? It didn't bother him. And And the thing I admired most about him, the first battle Lee and Grant fought was the wilderness there in Northern Virginia. And the Union Army was much larger, much better equipped. And at the end of the battle, they had not won. In fact, they had lost a lot of men. And so Grant's orderly came back to his tent, and he found Grant sitting in the tent weeping. And so the orderly assumed that Grant would retreat like every other general before him. And he said, "General, what orders do I give our troops?" And Grant looked up and he said, "We move forward." He lost the battle. It didn't deter him. He moved forward. He went on down to Spotsylvania. He lost another battle. But you know what he did? He moved forward. He then went to Cold Harbor, and he fought Lee at Cold Harbor. He lost a terrible battle. I mean, newspapers in the North called him a butcher. But you know what? He moved forward. He never once retreated, even in the face of defeat. I want you to think about that. Never moved backwards, always. And ultimately, he saved the United States. Think about it. He was ultimately able to defeat Lee at Petersburg, at Appomattox. He saved the United States. Was he the best general? Probably not. But he never retreated. He always moved forward. That persistence, that resilience, those are the kinds of things I think you learn as a scout. I want to encourage all of you out there to keep those things in mind. I mean, when things get really hard, if you can persist, just like Grant did. I mean, Grant lost a lot of battles to Lee, but he won the war. He was the guy who was the most persistent, the most resilient, and that's the person that won. As you move forward and do that, and especially scouts out there in your life, you can be very successful too. You don't have to be the best at everything. Lord knows I never was. But I did learn something about persistence and resilience. And if you've got those two things, you're going to go a long way in life. It's a great honor to be with you tonight. I hope you'll all come to UTRGV when you get college age. We're going to take good care of you. I mean, we graduate students with the lowest debt of any public university in the United States. We give you a great education. You don't have to mortgage your future to do that. Your success will always be how we measure our success. So I look forward to seeing all of you. Thank you for the invitation, for being here. I really appreciate everything you do for Scouts and for our young people. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bailey, and thank you for your donation. A quick question for you. I know you're a big fan of Major League Baseball. How are you seeing the season so far?
Well, I have a cluster of teams I pull for. The Astros and the Rangers, of course, the Atlanta Braves, who I began to pull for in the 50s when they were the Milwaukee Braves, believe it or not, and the Kansas City Royals. Only the Astros are successful right now. So, maybe they have the trash can episode behind them, and Altuve is healthy. And I have in the Edinburgh office, a framed Altuve signed jersey. So, I'm hoping that they'll get back. And we saw them play in a World Series a few years ago. It was wonderful. So, it's been an interesting season so far, and I hope my teams will get better. Yeah.
All right. Dr. Bailey, we appreciate your time and thank you for joining us tonight. We look forward to seeing you around the UTRGV campuses. There's 7, if I remember correctly, from Brownsville all the way up to Rio Grande City, and even some on South Padre Island. So we look forward to seeing you out and about there soon, and give our love to Val and the family and the 10 grandkids. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Guy Bailey of the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley, tonight's guest featured speaker here at our Arrowhead District Friends of Scouting Ask Event. It's very simple. You want to make a donation? You can do so. Text Arrowhead to 91999. That's 91999. You're going to text the word Arrowhead, and all the details on how you can help a scouter or a troop will be sent to you, and you can make your donation that way. It doesn't have to be a one-time donation. You can have a reoccurring donation if you like. If you say, I want to commit $350, but I can't do it all at one time right now, that's fine. we'll work with you. You can do $50 a month through the end of the year and still fulfill your commitment. So please text Arrowhead to 91999. That's Arrowhead to 91999 and do your part to help our scouts. Rudy Gonzalez, let's check in with you and see how things are going. I think you've got an update for us, and we're going to check in with Rudy Gonzalez, our RGV BSA Scout Executive. He's going to give us the details on what's happening. Rudy?
Thank you, Tony, and thank you, Dr. Bailey. It's great that we have leaders like you in the community that are there for all the youth here in our community. I know a lot of our scouts are excited, like many other youth, about SpaceX here coming to the Valley. Can real quick, in a minute or 2 minutes, can you tell us, for a lot of those young people that are excited, that want to be engineers and explore, everything that's out there in space, what are some of those opportunities that UT's doing to prepare some of those young people to become the engineers and the astronauts and all those people that work on the rockets and all that?
Well, thank you. We have a significant number of our former students who work at SpaceX. In fact, if you go out to the launch site, there's a young woman there who is in charge of the launch site. She graduated with her engineering degree from UTRGV 2 years ago, and now she's in charge of the launch site. The director of HR out there, just a number of people are UTRGV grads. We have internship opportunities there. Our engineering program is working on a weather balloon project with SpaceX. And we're currently talking to SpaceX about additional opportunities for internships and for collaborations out there. So there are tremendous opportunities. I was out there last year, and we met, and they said, can you send us 50 of your best students to interview? And we did. They hired 7 of them on the spot and hired several later. So there are tremendous opportunities there. Engineers, of course, they need as much as anything, more than anything, really. But also, if you're in human resources, they have accountants. Remember, it's a business, right? We think of it in terms of spaceships and it's tremendous, but it is also a business. And so just keep in mind that from a wide range of areas, you can work at SpaceX. It is one exciting place. When you go out there, most of the people working there are 30 or younger. There are people who are they're excited, they're young, they have more energy than the new puppy you just bought. They're all over, and they're doing great things. And so it is a place of great excitement. And I look forward to seeing it blossom into a lot of our students working there and as they graduate.
Well, thank you, Dr. Bailey. I know this summer at Camp Perry in Rio Hondo, we are offering the Space Exploration Merit Badge. And so for all those families that want to get a head start, on all the young people, your son, your daughter, if they want to come out and learn about that, we're going to be offering that. And so we'll go to the website, and we'll start doing our part at Camp Perry to prepare the astronauts and the engineers and all those people that are going to take us out of this world. At this time, I would like to share a screen on how much we've raised so far, and let's see where we're at right now tonight. Tony, you want to read that on the screen for us, please?
Yeah, the goal is $20,000 so far. We've raised $12,044. Want to thank our friends at Rio Bank, Kreidler Funeral Home, Adrian Arriaga, Ernest Alaceda, Barrera Sanchez and Associates, Lowry and Jessica McKellen, Dr. Guy Bailey, Sarah and Daniel Mendez, Carlos Gonzalez, the Mayor, State of the City Fund, Texas Regional Bank, Rio Bank, now home to UTRGV, and that's where Dr. Bailey was joining us from. We appreciate all of their donations and their support, and we're just under $7,000 short of our goal. So we want to encourage you. Text the word Arrowhead to 91999. That's 91999. Follow the details, and they will give you all the information on how it is you can support scouting in the Rio Grande Valley. And of course, this is a strong lead and positive turning point for our Arrowhead District Friends of Scouting campaign. We sincerely want to thank you on behalf of our committee, the fundraisers, and myself. all from the bottom of our hearts. We want to thank the AIM Media Group. That's the Monitor, the Brownsville Herald, and the Valley Morning Star, who have graciously said, we are going to stream your event on our Facebook pages and our social media. We appreciate Stephen Wingert and all the folks over at AIM Media. Thank you so much. Before we wrap it up, we're going to hear one more time from our Scout executive, Rudy Gonzalez. He's going to give us the Scout Executive Minute. Rudy, take it away, sir.
Thank you, Tony. And again, Dr. Bailey, thank you very much for everything that you're doing to support the young people here in the Rio Grande Valley.
Thank you.
And tonight, you know, I want to let all the adults out there, you know, at one time you were a kid, and remember, all of us got here because there was a person in the community that said, you know what, I'm going to help the young people in the community, either financially or by giving an hour a week, volunteering somewhere. But it takes all of us out there, all the adults that are now professionals that are out there in the world. You know, there's a lot of kids in the Valley. You know, we serve Willacy County, which is one of the lowest income counties in the state of Texas. We also service Zapata, another county that's, you know, doesn't have a lot of financial resources. Starr County, another county that's, you know, a lot of families don't have the financial resources. But there's volunteers and adults out there and professionals that I know will step up and not only help Boy Scouts of America, but also other serving youth organizations in the community. We need all the adults out there to help. Otherwise, if all the good people in the Rio Grande Valley do not come together, there's going to be bad people out there that are doing the same thing we're doing tonight, meeting, but they're going to be meeting to do bad things and give our young people bad things to do. But I truly believe that all the professionals and all the good people and all the government leaders and business leaders and religious leaders and educational leaders, if we all come together, I know that we're going to be able to help more and more youth, not only in Boy Scouts of America, but in all the organizations that serve our youth in the community. So tonight, I invite you to help, you know, some of our scouts. Like I said, I have a few of them that want to attend summer camp, but do not have the financial resources to go there. And with your help, we're going to give those young people that opportunity to go out there and dream. You know, one of our alumni that used to go to Camp Perry was Mike Fossum, who grew up in McAllen. And Mike Fossum, when he would go to Camp Perry, he would look up at the stars and he would dream that one day he would be up there. And thanks to one person, his scoutmaster that would volunteer his time to take him out there, Mike was able to go to college, go to the Air Force and become an astronaut after that, and then become the commander for the International Space Station. So that's what we want to do. We want to give more kids an opportunity here in the Valley to be able to dream and to become the next Dr. Guy Baileys that run UT and the ones that are going to be running SpaceX and the ones going to NASA. And I feel that with everyone's support, I know that we will be able to accomplish that and give more kids that opportunity to become the good citizens in the community, those good citizens that are going to make the Rio Grande Valley one of the best places in the world to live and raise our kids. So thank you very much for your support. Again, please text Arrowhead to 91999. Back to you, Tony.
Thank you, Rudy, for those inspiring words. And this is going to wrap up our Friends of Scouting event for tonight. I hope that you enjoyed the discussion with Dr. Guy Bailey as much as we did. And we hope that he gave you a little perspective and insight as to what's happening at UTRGV and what's coming down the pipe for the Vaqueros, part of the V Nation. We hope that you'll join it as you have the Boy Scouts of America. We invite you through our fundraiser to donate your treasure throughout the year on our committee, or if you want to join us for next year's event. We thank you for supporting the Friends of Scouting in the Rio Grande Valley, the Arrowhead District, and the Boy Scouts of the Rio Grande Valley Council. Have a great evening, have a great weekend, and as the Scout slogan says, do a good turn daily. Thank you so much. Have a great night.